channel. My babies are up there sleeping now, so I'm gonna try to be a little quiet, but I'm so excited to see you all. I have a great story today. As you can see by the title, this is about my labor and delivery story, and about how it went with having my twins. I want to start by saying please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel so you can get more content about me and you can know what's going on in my life. So that, like, once again, my channel is going to be more about my journey with my twins, being a twin mom, a new twin mom, my experience being a homeowner, my experience being an occupational therapist, and my journey going there, being married and young, having dreadlocks or locks. So I'm very excited to share all of those things with you. I'm very passionate about everything that I'm doing with my life. So I can't wait to share more of that with you all. So if that interests you, please like, comment, subscribe. Comment if you have any tips or any suggestions or things you would like to know more about. Please let me know. Also, I wanted to say things. I will also do just random things like clothing hauls. I might do like tips for homeowners, like just things around the house, the process, things like that. And when I talk about my labor and delivery story today, I want to later do, I ended up having a C-section, as you'll hear in my story. I want to do a recovery video, a postpartum video, things like that as well. So just let me know if those things sound of interest to you, and definitely I want to get through those things as well. So these are my notes on my computer. I always take notes so that I don't forget anything, because it's a lot. Sometimes, like, a lot of this labor and delivery, it was kind of difficult to remember all the details, so I had to sit and think about everything, and I don't want to forget anything while I'm talking about it. So that's why I wrote notes about it. A lot of it was a little hazy, as you will see in my story. So I will take it back. The day before, my husband and I, we had to go on a walk. We were trying to induce my labor naturally. A lot of people don't know that with twins, you have to go, they usually only let you go to 38 weeks. So most twins come a lot earlier than 38 weeks. But once you get to about 38 weeks, they want to induce your labor, because it's a risk of stillborn and other pregnancy complications, like risks of death of the mom, all those horrible things. So they always recommend that you get induced around 38 weeks. So that's why at 38 weeks, I had an appointment with my doctor to see if we can get induced. So I thought my babies were going to come the week before. My doctor was actually out of town. He was on vacation or something. It was the end of the year, so PTO, you got to use that PTO up. So he wasn't there that week, and I was like, I'm gonna go into labor. The whole third trimester, the last few weeks, I felt like I was always gonna go into labor, because everyone was so surprised that I made it so far. 38 weeks is very long for twins. And yeah, so we did a walk trying to induce the labor naturally. That was January 3rd. My doctor appointment was on January 4th. So as soon as he got back the next week, he wanted to schedule our induction. So the doctor said to come in on January 4th. We'll see what works for that week. I go in on January 4th. Well, actually, after the walk, I just want to say that walk was really difficult for me. I was really out of breath, and I was always out of breath, but I don't know. I was really big at that point. So they were like big babies. They're like weighing at like 6 pounds each during the the ultrasound. So they were kind of big babies. So it's like I had 12 pounds of babies, and then plus the placentas. There was 2 placentas and all of that stuff. So it was a lot. So I'm gonna make another video later also about the different types of twins and more about the types of twins that I had, and all the placentas and all those details and stuff like that. It'll be really interesting for people to learn something new. I learned a lot since I had my twins, so I would love to share that with everyone. But okay, so 38 weeks, that Monday, January 4th, we went in, and it was a regular doctor's appointment. I did have a sore throat. I told the doctor when I got there, not the doctor, like the people who check you in, they do the pre-COVID questions, because this was all during COVID, January 4th, 2021. I was telling them I had a sore throat. They were like, do you have anything else? Like, what did the lady say? She said, if you have a cough or things like that, then I would be really concerned, or something like that. But since it's just a sore throat, I guess whatever, it's fine. Just go see the doctor. That's what she told me, like whatever. So I went, I saw the doctor. I told him about the sore throat. He was like, okay. And then he was like, he checked my blood pressure. And so that's when it gets really dangerous when you have birth, if your blood pressure is increased. When you have twins, for me, I had to go see a high risk doctor for the whole time I was in my pregnancy. So from like 20 weeks on, every 4 weeks, once a month, I had to go see the high risk doctor. And then eventually, I didn't even talk about this, but eventually during my third trimester and like the end of my second trimester, like 24 weeks or 22 weeks, I had to start seeing someone to measure the contractions or see if there's any contractions, things like that. I forgot what it was called, but they put monitors on the baby's hearts to see their movements. So I had to do that once a week, and then I had to do my regular doctor appointments, and then I had to do my high-risk doctor's appointments once a month. And my regular doctor's appointments eventually became like once every 3 weeks or once every 2 weeks towards the end. So it was kind of like I was going to the doctor sometimes twice, 3 times a week. So it was a lot. What else? So yeah, so when I went to the doctor January 4th, it was just to schedule the induction. It was basically just to schedule. It was just, so when I went to the doctor on January 4th, it was just to schedule the induction. What happened was the doctor told me that my blood pressure was really high and he was very concerned. And since I was already planning to get induced that week, he said since it's so high, he can't take any risks, which thank God for that, because later he finds out I had preeclampsia, which is very dangerous. It's pregnancy-induced high blood pressure. So he told me I can go home, get a bag if I don't have a bag ready. Because, I mean, I was going to make a bag ready and take one, but I didn't want to jinx anything. So I didn't even have the bag ready, but I really didn't need to bring much. It was just like clothes and things like that. So he was like, you can go home. You don't live too far. Go home, get your clothes, come back. But don't take more than like an hour, basically. You need to come back right away because we need to check, like run more tests on you and see what's going on. But at that point, all he saw was that I had high blood pressure. He didn't know I had the preeclampsia yet. So he said it was just elevated, it wasn't like super high yet or whatever. So there's other signs of preeclampsia besides just the high blood pressure. There's like protein in your urine and stuff like that. So anyways, he told me to come back. We came back an hour later. And so let me see. Yeah, so that was that Monday. So I got back at like my appointment was probably at 1. I got back at like 2 or 3 or something. And then we sat in the hospital room. They told us all the procedures that were gonna happen because it was COVID time and masks and things like that. So I had to do a COVID test and it came back positive. So you can imagine I was like, that's probably why I had a sore throat. So yeah, my test came back positive. I did not really have any like cough or what are the other symptoms. I don't know, whatever the other symptoms were. I didn't have any of them, but just the sore throat. And I think the sore throat was very mild. It was starting to go away. I'm really good at like getting rid of sore throats very fast. So I felt fine overall. I just felt really big and pregnant. That was my only concern at that moment. It wasn't even COVID anymore. So they had to switch me to the isolation room. And because of that, I had to, my husband was coming, I think, or he was there already or whatever. He works at the hospital I gave birth at. So he was I think he was there and he had to come in or something, come upstairs or something. So they said once he comes, he can't leave basically, and that you can't like have anyone else coming back and forth basically because of COVID and they want to keep everyone safe and all that. So they put me in the isolation room, which was a bigger room for me, so I was fine with it. So I was really nervous. I was like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? I have COVID now. You start getting more nervous. So, but I was fine. It wasn't a big thing, but it was very nerve-wracking. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. So, and then my mom couldn't even come anyways. Usually they said it's only one visitor anyways. So I was already bummed about that. So then that night they started the induction process. So that's the part that is the hard part. So later that day, that night, I think I had my last meal around that night. And then, because you can't eat when they give you some of this induction medicine. I don't remember the name of the medicine. It was 2 different kinds, I'm pretty sure. He put me on one. Then he put me on another one, and then he put like a balloon in my cervix to help try to open it up. It was just a lot. So I'll get to that. So yeah, that was my last meal. Because I had he came back and told me that night too that he ran more tests and it definitely had preeclampsia, and he was very happy that he caught it when he did. Also, they had me taking aspirin, so it's just like a pill you take once a day. It was a chewy thing that they wanted me to take once a day in the morning. Every morning, the high-risk doctor told me to start taking it to prevent preeclampsia. So the doctor was basically saying, it's a good thing you were taking those. You made it to 38 weeks, which is amazing with twins. Like, you did so great. I'm happy we caught it when we did. So everything was like, thank God we caught it, because this is like how a lot of black women die, or just women in general die from giving birth. Sometimes it's preeclampsia. So it was very good they caught it, and I was able to, get checked out. And so he had to start me on the medicine, which was magnesium, and also I had to be on antibiotics. And so after that, it was just the waiting game, basically. They checked my cervix. When I first got there, I wasn't dilated at all, of course. My babies were so stubborn. And so they would check like every 5 to 6 hours to see how dilated I was. And it was like so draining. I couldn't eat after my last meal that Monday night, and I was vomiting. The medicine made me vomit, the magnesium sulfate. And also I was feeling I was vomiting, I was feeling very tired and like wiped out and hot. Like extremely hot. Like I felt like I was sweating. So my husband and the nurse, I felt so bad for them. They had to bring me a wet towel, put it over my head, like this, like every 10 minutes or 30 minutes. Like it was like the only thing. And even with that wet towel, it was like cold water on my forehead. Like 5 seconds later, like maybe a minute, it felt warm again. It was just like always, like I was just so hot. It was a weird feeling, a feeling that you never want to feel. And I felt almost like I was unconscious. Like that's why I was saying, like some of these things that made me feel like it's hazy, because it felt like I was unconscious for some of it. It wasn't fun. It was very uncomfortable. And then eventually, I think when he started one of the medicines, or I don't remember exactly when the contractions started, but they started very quickly, like maybe later that night, in the middle of the night or something. I started having the contractions, and I was like, this is too much. I was like, just stop it. It has to stop. It was like I was tired. I was vomiting. I vomited multiple times during the whole few days that I was there trying to, get induced. And then I was starving because I couldn't eat, and I'm a foodie and I'd be hungry. I was so hungry, you guys, so hungry. So it was tough. It was very tough. So I was so hungry, tired, wiped out, hot. They had to bring a fan in the room to point it at me because I was so hot. And I wasn't feeling like myself. It was the weirdest thing, and I don't like that feeling. So let me see, where am I in my story? So eventually when it kept going, Tuesday, nothing really, like they kept checking. It was like maybe an inch or half an inch, an inch. And it was kind of painful to check also. That part is hard. It was painful to check the dilation. I don't want to get too explicit, but it does not feel too nice. Eventually when you're like dilated though more, I forgot, like 3 centimeters, it stopped hurting or something. So Wednesday morning, which was when my babies were born, I was, let's go back, actually. Was it Wednesday morning? I think it was Tuesday night, Wednesday morning-ish. I had, the doctor checked me, and I was like, maybe that's when I was 4 or 3.5 or something. He broke my water bag. It was around that amount. Maybe it was 4 or 5. I can't exactly remember. Maybe it was 5 centimeters, and then I only made it to 6 the next morning after he already broke my water bag. And you have to be at 10 centimeters to give birth naturally. So it was like my progression was going very, very, very slow. So Monday I started being induced. Wednesday morning I wasn't even 6 centimeters, or I was only 6 centimeters, something around that amount. So it was very far from 10 centimeters. So I was very upset, and I was like, I can't take it anymore. They literally was giving me ice chips for dinner, and she didn't even want me to give me that. The nurse was like, well, even this gonna be bad for you. Like, it was like, how am I supposed to, I think they were giving me fluids through my, I don't know. It was weird. I didn't get no food. It was really hard. So anyways, I ended up just telling them, just give me a C-section. I couldn't take it anymore. I was like, these babies, I told the nurse, these babies need to come out here one way or another. And she's like, you need to tell the doctor this. He doesn't listen to me, whatever, whatever. So the male doctor came in there. He was like, yes, so, you know, what do you want? I heard you want a C-section or something. You want the babies out, right? And I'm like, yeah, just take them out of me. And he was like, okay, well, we can do it. He didn't want to give me a C-section at first. And I think it's because I'm younger. And he knows, like, once you start having C-sections, it's pretty much, most likely you're going to keep having to have them whenever you give birth again. So that's why they don't like to give it. And it's a major abdominal surgery. Even though so many people have them, it's very, like, it's a major surgery. So it's not something to mess around with, you guys. So basically, where am I? So they started that morning at like 6 or 7 a.m. It was very quick. Maybe it was 7 or 8 a.m. He was like, okay, we'll just give you a C-section right now. I'm going to get you ready. We're going to go into the operating room. We're going to get this C-section going. So, like, it was like, after that, it was like, boom, 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 boom. Like, I was crying, you guys. Like, crying. Like, those 3 days were so hard. I was just like, just give me my babies. I can't take it. I'm not progressing. Like, crying. Like, it was so hard for me. I was hungry, tired. I didn't feel like myself. I felt wiped out. All those horrible things. So anyways, they get me into the operating room. That's a whole nother video about that experience, like my first surgery. Whew. But anyways, everything, you know, everyone has masks. Everyone had to be very sterilized. My husband, they had to give him specific procedures to be sterilized and stuff like that. So we get in there. My arms were on the table like this. I was laying like that with my head back and my arms out like this. And then the rest of my body was like covered, but I was awake. Oh, and I got an epidural. I don't know if I mentioned that, but when I was having those horrible contractions, I got an epidural early on, and he told me to do that anyways, the doctor, because he said if I end up having a C-section, then it'll be good to have it. Because sometimes with twins, what happens is you might have a natural delivery, and you might have a natural delivery, like for the first baby, and then something goes wrong for the second baby or something. They flip or whatever. So they always recommend twin moms to get an epidural so that in case you have to do a quick surgery, you'll already have it and you don't have to be put to sleep for the birth of your children. No one wants to be put to sleep for that. Well, I mean, I didn't want to be put to sleep for that. I should only speak on myself. So, anyways, this is the part that just shook me. I felt the first cut, and it felt, sorry if it's too explicit for y'all, but it felt exactly how you would imagine a cut would feel. Horrible. Like, I screamed. I was like, ah! Like, I screamed. And the doctor was like, she needs more. So they had to give me more medicine, numbing medicine, or epidural, whatever. And so, all I know is it was so quick. It felt like it was like 10 minutes, like the actual cut from the time he cut to when the babies came out. Like, the whole process may have been like an hour or so, like, you know, making sure I had the medicine and all that, laying me down and talking to me through the procedures and everything. That took a while. But once he cut me and then the babies started coming out, it's so weird because even that cut was so painful. As soon as I heard my baby cry, like 2 minutes later, my first baby, my first son, oh my God, me and my husband were just bawling. It was the most beautiful thing in the world, the best feeling in the world, I promise you. Like, it was just so beautiful, so beautiful. Every time I think back to that moment, I want to cry. It was so beautiful. So he comes out, my oldest one, he was the bigger baby too. Then 2 minutes later, so 9:36, my first baby, 9:38, my second baby, a.m. came out on January 6th. That was the date of their birth. So 9:36, 9:38 on January 6th, 2021. So the second baby came out. So it was just the only thing that really was difficult was, oh yeah, so when the first baby came out, he had to be put in a NICU. He was only there for a day and a half, but I didn't get to hold him. They were like, we're gonna have to put the baby in the NICU or whatever. Mom, I'm sorry. And they call it the special, you know, nursery. And so I was just like, can I see my baby? I couldn't even, they said this without me even seeing my baby. Like, kind of sense is that, let me see my baby, let me hold my baby. They said I couldn't hold it because I was still in surgery, but they couldn't wait either. So they brought him over, let me see him. He was so beautiful. I just remember my babies look like they were so beautiful, guys. Hey, every mom thinks their children are the most beautiful thing in the world. Like, it's true, the mother's love is so strong. So anyways, they They brought him out. I got to see him. And then the next baby came. And all I remember is they looked so much alike to me at that point. They did look a lot more alike when they were like first born to me. Oh my God, that feeling is so weird. It's so weird. So anyways, I couldn't hold him. And then the second baby came out. And then I was able to hold him. And they let me hold him on the way to the operating room. Skin to skin. It was beautiful. And so when he was in the NICU, he was in there for a day and a half. My husband was the only one allowed to go because I had COVID, as you all know. So it was very difficult. Even talking about it makes me always get a little sad and a little choked up sometimes, because with the COVID restrictions and just in restrictions in general, you cannot go to the NICU if you're sick and stuff like that. So I could not hold my baby for a day and a half. Can you imagine? Like, ugh, I hated it. Like, even most of the time, I mean, with this COVID situation, it's even worse. But like, you know, it's just hard for moms when you have your baby, you want to hold your baby, you want to kiss your baby, you want to love your baby. I couldn't even kiss my babies because I had to wear masks, obviously, because I had COVID too. That's another thing that happened. So this whole COVID thing, that was my experience with that. I actually, you know, tested positive, had to wear masks. Even when I brought my babies home, I had to wear masks. So it was a while before I kissed my babies, but just holding them was the best thing. So, and I did try to breastfeed as well, so that was beautiful too. And I didn't have, that's fine with like COVID. They say you can still breastfeed and all that. What else did I say? So yeah, last thing, I was there. So we got there Monday, and I ended up leaving on Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening. I think it was the evening, like around 5 or 6 actually. So I was there pretty much the whole week. So after the C-section, the doctor said he likes to keep people in the hospital for like an extra few days or so. So that's what happened. What else? Oh, after my surgery, my blood pressure skyrocketed. They had to bring it down. It was a very scary moment. They were all freaking out. And I was like, I'm just cold. I'm just so cold. I'm just so cold. They're like, yes, we know. We have to get your blood pressure down. Those nurses were so funny. We had so much fun. But, yeah, they were very concerned. That was a little scary. And then, like I said, not being able to see my baby for a day and a half, the worst. You have one baby in the room. It was like me and my husband were so emotional because we're like, we have one baby here. The other baby is supposed to be here with us. It was hard, but we're just thankful that he was healthy. And he had to go to the NICU because of the way he was breathing. It was nothing like, you know, he was too early or a preemie or nothing like that. It was just had like very loud breathing, and he was breathing very fast. And I find out that the magnesium, they think it was from the magnesium. They said it was like, he was like, he was so tired. Like, it seemed like his body, you know, couldn't handle it. And I mean, rightfully so. That was some strong medicine. I could barely handle it myself. So I'm just grateful that all of that, his breathing is so much better now. Where he's almost 5 months. In a few days, it'll be 5 months. And they're doing beautiful. Like, both of them are thriving. So thank God for that. What else do I have? Yeah, and I mean, the C-section, I didn't want to have a C-section. I'm going to make another video just about my experience having a C-section. But it wasn't my preferred choice. But when you're in labor and everything is happening so fast and you're so scared and it's so hard and difficult, and at that moment, all you want to do is meet your baby. Sometimes you just, you know, you just go with whatever you feel you want to do at that time. And at that day, on that Wednesday, after being there for 2.5 days, I was like, I cannot do this anymore. Just give me my children. I just want my babies. I just wanted my babies. I couldn't take any more pain, any more starvation. I felt like I was starving. I was so hungry, y'all. I was so hungry, and I was vomiting a lot. Like, almost like, at some point, it was like almost every hour. And they just, I don't know, maybe that happens all the time during labor, but it probably was the contractions too, like, and the medicines, all of that, everything. I was just vomiting, like everything. And I was drinking water, so I was vomiting all my fluids. And the nurses kept telling the doctor, it was a lot. It was a lot. I got very close to those nurses, and I really thank them every day. Like, I think about them and thank them for taking care of me so well and my baby so well. You have to pick a good hospital to give birth because they really do a lot for you if you pick a good place too. So that's it. That's my interesting and long labor and delivery story. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Yeah, if you have any more questions about any of my experiences, please let me know. Everyone's healthy. Oh, they checked the babies in the hospital for COVID. My babies did not have COVID when they checked them. They checked them twice. a few when they were born and then right before we left. So they were pretty protected from it, thank God. But yes, it was a very difficult time for all of us. But it was a great also time because we all got to meet each other. So it was beautiful. It's a beautiful experience. Giving birth is one of those experiences you will never forget, and I am so grateful that I got to experience it with my twin boys. And I hope that we might have another baby in like 5 years or something. Who knows? But it was such a great experience. Even if it was hard, I wouldn't change anything about it. It's like one of those type of things. Like you grow so much from it too. So yeah, I'm very happy, and thank you all for watching this video. Let me know if you have any more questions. Take care. See you guys soon. Bye.